Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was a short but sweet version of Frankie and Johnny, which was a little different due to the fact that I had the pianist play the bass part and I played the melody part. Traditionally, this instrument, the string bass, has been known as the bottom. And over the past 60, 70 years, it has made many leaps in which I think that it has passed even the expectations of the makers and players of the 1800s. I don't think they would imagine that this instrument would be played as it is today by some of our fine young people and a few of our good old people. The first thing I'd like to go back is to refresh for some of you young people and maybe to remind some of the old people of how this thing used to be played. Now, I didn't know anything about this. They just told me about it. But back around 1910, in the early days, just as they made the transition from the tuba to the string bass, it was played in a very, I guess you could call, haphazard way. There was not a lot of finesse, and it was played very harshly like this. Now, that particular slap version and method was refined to some extent. I recall vividly as a kid hearing Wellman Brogue, who was with Duke Ellington, who also was written up in, believe it or not, Ripley, as being able to play more slaps per minute than any other bass player alive. But he refined it to the point where he could play, and I learned to do this because this, when I was first playing the bass, this was the thing to do, was to play the melody like, let's say, T for 2. That style. It's very hard on your hands while we're using steel strings as we do now. If I had gut strings, I think I could be a little more elaborate. But it has come a long way in that into the 40s and early 50s, the bass was played this way. So the hand was off of the string. Now going into the middle 50s and on, the hand stayed on the board. And also the left hand stayed on the board. You know, in the old days, a guy would have flying fingers. He'd play this way. And the only time his hand stayed on the board is when he played up high, so he could slide up and down. But when he came down here, then the fingers flew up this way, you know, which kept the tone from being sustained. And how that's been remedied is if you find that if you keep the string down, the tone will stay even. And it'll last a long time. You don't have to play loud to swing. You can play soft and swing. Just play me a little blues in A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. I'd like to get our first student up here. We have a very lovely young lady named Erica Howard. Would you please come up? You can applaud. It's all right. Erica, we want to go over a couple of things today. I have asked the students to pick out several songs that they know, and I'm hoping they make some mistakes so I can tell them what's wrong. If they play too good, I'm in trouble. First thing I'd like you to do is play a blues line for me, just on your own. Play that same blues in another key and play it about this tempo. 1, 2. Got a key picked out? 1, 2, 3, 4. A little slow. All right, now hold it 1 second. Now, when you start playing that slow, remember the principle of holding the strings down, right? So I told you to play the first blues you played. All right, now when I told you to play it slower, you got a little more careless with the hands, and the fingers came up and you didn't sustain the string. In other words, so if I'm playing down here, if I say 1, 2, every day, I have the blues. Every day, let it sustain. I have the blues. Don't you see me coming, baby? Got everything to lose. I want those notes to ring out. Now try it again for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take your time. Use all of the bass. Come on the way up. Come on up here somewhere. I want to make it. That's it. Now, I told you about coming home back home now. All right. When you finish your blues, make sure it's finished. Don't leave me up in the air when you finish the song.
I find it very difficult to kind of come round and it's just the last couple of bars. I find it difficult.
Okay. So you were playing in the key of F, right? Mm. So your last 4 bars would be G, right? F, or, so if you say last 4 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sometimes on the 2 bars before, like the G and the C, yeah. I find if perhaps I'm in a funny position, you know, funny part in the chord, then it's difficult to start a run to end it off.
All right, but you have so many options. When you come to the last 2 bars, you can go G minor to C. So any direction you go in, you can still always wind up back at F. Mm. So, you know, don't be afraid to stretch out. In other words, you don't have to go. That's not necessarily. You can say G minor to C. Anything. Million endings, but make sure you bring it back home, as they say. Now, I'd like you to play a song for me that you say you know, right? Cherokee.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to have you play some of that with the rhythm section here. Tell them what kind of introduction you want and what tempo you want.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now do something for me. I want you to play that same song in the key of D natural. And not as fast. I want to be able to hear what all the chords are. And you can't fool him because he knows them all. I'm going to ask him if you're doing it right. And down in here so we can hear the changes. 1, 2. You can hum the melody if you want. If you don't know it, just play the time. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Now, listen to me. If I'm going to play this song in D, right, or any key, I'm going to play a little bit for you in D to show you what I mean. But you should play it so it's very audible to the musicians. If he's not playing, he should be able to follow it, you know. But you should make it very plain. So you're playing a lot of accidentals. And it could fit, but it couldn't fit. It's according to what he would be playing, you see. And if he's not if he's playing the exact voicings of the chords, then you could be wrong, you see. So now, what I want you to practice at home, alone, not with records or anything. You know Cherokee very well in B flat. You don't have any problem with it in B flat, you know. I want you to play it in D. I want you to play it in E flat, E natural, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A natural, right? Until you can play it in all the keys. And play it slow. Play it as I don't care if you play it as a waltz, you know, in E. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How about giving her a hand for it? Now I'd like to get our next student up, Andy Evans. Now, Andy, we had a chance to chat a little bit today. Now, one of the things that I want to go over with you is that first thing I want you to do is turn your amplifier off. Just turn the sound off for a second. All right. Now play a few notes for me. Okay, now turn some of your volume up now. Now play again. Okay. Now, one of the things I've talked to the students about is you have to watch. You play the amplifier. Don't have the amplifier play you. You're in a very close point where the amplifier is changing the sound of your instrument. And this shouldn't happen. It takes many years to build a character, you know. You get known for the sound that you build when you play this instrument, you know. And it's a rare occasion, I think, for somebody to go home and practice in his room with his amplifier on, right?
Yeah, that's
you
true.
wouldn't do it, you know.
No.
So you create a sound with this instrument. And once you create that sound, then you never want to lose it, you know. So you spend a lot of time working getting a sound, whether it's with the bow or whether it's pizzicato. You spend a lot of time getting that sound, and you want to retain it because it's your character. It belongs to you. When I play, you know, they know who that is, you know, because I've been playing it for 50 years. Matter of fact, I've been trying to forget it, but I can't. You know, but you spend a lot of time building this up, so you don't want to dilute it by having an amplifier that doesn't aid what you're doing. You understand? So we're not talking about names of amplifiers now, but as long as we're going to have amplification, make sure that the amplifier takes what you have and just raise it a little bit, you know, and monitors it so you can hear it and you can play a little softer, you know. But don't let it change your sound, you know, so that you sound like any of 100 bass players who have amplification. Land solid. You know, that's the important thing, because it's an illusion anyway when you're saying peekity dong, you know. Hit bottom so it means something, you know. This is where you start and where you're finishing, you know. So when you make those peekity dong, make sure that last one is solid. You can miss the other three, you know. You can create an illusion with the three, but the fourth one's got to hit. Don't miss the fourth one. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Now play it again for me. In G this time. We'll give you easy key. Play it for me in G, just a little slower, and play a little bit of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. You didn't give me too many that time in G, you know. You didn't get as fancy as you were in F, you know. You're very fancy in F. You played a little straight life in G. So now, when you go home to practice and you play this through the keys, make sure that you play it, if you play it in G, ding, bom, bom, boom, bom. Do it like you did in F. Dum, bom, dum, bom, 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 dum, bom, 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 bom. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Or if you play it in A. Boom, boom, do, do, da. Boom, do, boom, boom, da, do, da. Do, da. Boom, do, boom, da. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's give him a nice hand, folks. Before I bring our last student up, you know, I want to talk about styles of music, because Music's undergoing a very big and vast change. I started playing the bass, I hate to admit it because I should be playing better, but I started back around 1939. And I've seen this instrument go through a lot of changes, you know. And we are now just coming out of the rock era, and I think it's going somewhere else. I don't know where it's going, but you'll find that music goes through something every 10 to 20 years. Something else takes over, you know. And there's not very much room for this instrument in rock music. However, it is possible to use it. I'd like to give a short demonstration of that. I'm not going to try to use the volume that they use. I'm just going to try to simulate the feeling that you can get. If you just give me a little time back there on. Now you can take this. Give me the brace. Thank you. Now I'd like to bring up Tim Farrell as our third student, please. Tim, how much studying have you done?
Not much.
Not much, huh? All right. How much playing do you do normally? Do you play casual work? What kind of jobs do you play?
Yeah, whatever comes along. So maybe once, twice a week.
You're going to play Body and Soul for us today?
Okay.
Okay. Two things. You're playing half bass part and half melody with him, see? Now I've got him playing the melody. Now, if you want to play the melody line, then you do it in a different manner. You do it this way. 1, 2, just a couple, 3, 4. If you're going to play the bass part. You see what I'm saying? In other words, I don't feel that you're supposed to be the leader up here. You know, you call the tune and you beat off the tempo. And I expect then that you have to assume some leadership. You understand? So to assume some leadership, you don't have to play the melody, but you have to sound like you know what the song is, you know. I don't care what it is, any song in the world, you know. I don't care if you're even playing some blues. You got to sound like you know what you're doing, you know. And this is what I've always told students, you know. I said, for God's sake, get your own time. Quit riding around waiting down drummers, you know. They have their own problems. They don't need bass players hanging on their coattails, do they? You know, they really don't. You've got to have your time. Let your time work. Join me. Now stop. But I don't need him. It's nice to have him, but you don't have to have him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be dependent on him, you see? So when you go home to practice, two things. I want you to learn body and soul inside out. I want you to be able to play the melody. All right? And I want you to be able to play the exact bass part and play it like you own the tune. Do, 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 do. Bo, ba, da. Bo, ba, do, ba. Bo, be, da, ba. Ba, ba, bo, bo, ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba, de, ba. Okay?
All right. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
At this time, folks, I'd like to attempt to do something that I started doing some years back in a reference to the bass coming into its own as not just a support instrument, but as a solo instrument. I would like to play a unaccompanied solo, whereupon I play the melody and the accompaniment, and what little time there is, I'll handle that also. And you have to pick out a vehicle when you do this. If you're playing a rhythm tune, it's one thing, but if you're going to play, I'm picking out a ballad. If you're going to play a ballad, then you have to pick out a song that has the necessary holes. Let me explain what I mean when I say the necessary holes. A good tune to play by yourself would be a tune like Tenderly, where you would go. So it has enough holes in it to allow you to elaborate. You say, the evening breeze, and then you go and play whatever you want to play. Caress the trees, blah, 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 tenderly. But it's got nice pacing of the melody to allow, especially a bass player, to lay in what he wants to lay in. So with that in mind, I'd like to play a song entitled The Very Thought of You.